You know what occurred to me? I have two hands, but I only ever use one of them to draw. So today that changes because I'm going to battle them head to head and see which one can draw better. It's a battle! Left versus right. I wanted to know what would happen if I drew the exact same picture, once with my left hand and once with my right hand. I'm right-handed, so my left hand is literally just around to make sure my right hand can do what it needs to do. I write with my right hand, I draw with my right hand, I open doors with my right hand, I brush my teeth with my right hand. My left hand is literally just around to hold the jar so that my right hand can unscrew the jar. So just learning to hold the pencil took a little bit of a time for me. And you'll see throughout the video that I am constantly changing the way I'm holding my pencil with my left hand and trying to find something that feels remotely comfortable or calming in some way. And it's funny because like the drawing on the left side is also super sketchy and loose and like almost hectic, if that makes sense. And that's how I felt when I was drawing it. So it's expressing the views of the artist, and it's just beautiful in that way. But I honestly, if I do say so, I really like the left one right now just because of how loose and free it is, because it looks like my art style, but it's more swishy. And then I look at the right one, which I felt super comfortable when I was drawing the right one, and it looks stiff and almost lifeless. And I don't know if I would have made that comparison if I hadn't ever drawn with my left hand. So it's definitely teaching me a lesson here, and that is I need to be more loose. I need to be more free and hectic. Being completely honest though, I really enjoyed drawing with my left hand because it felt like there weren't really expectations and I could just sketch, and I really just enjoyed the process of it, and it was just really fun. Going on to the line art here, on the right hand I've started, I like the line work on the right one. I think it turned out pretty well. The problem again is just how stiff the sketch started out, and usually when you add line art to a sketch it gets stiffer. So if you're going to start with a stiff sketch, you're going to end up with stiff line art. Whereas on the left side I had a very loose sketch, and so the line art is going to be looser usually. And the fact that I can't really control where the heck the pen is going, that helps. So I also kind of like the line art on the left side. It's very squaggly and it's not very clean, but it's expressive, you know? I do not like the way his pecs turned out. No, that's a bigger regret. But I'm looking at the right now, and that arm is just so square and choppy. It's kind of weird. I feel so different than I thought I would going into this. I was so nervous about how derpy the left one was gonna look, and yeah, there's a little bit of a derp, but I'm not mad at the way it looks. I did not expect this to happen, okay? Okay, well there's some problems where I'm seeing some problems with the line art. So the line art for the tail, I would usually do in like one swoosh, a lot of like shoulder movements, but you'll see there's much more short, choppy lines for the line art, and that's not a good look. I don't really like that. Whereas on the right side, the line art is much smoother. In the places where I did have to pick up the pen and put it back down, I'm able to, connect the dots a little bit better. I don't usually connect them perfectly because I've always considered myself kind of a lazy artist, but it's much more prominent and obvious in the left-hand one than the right-hand one. And I also think the blobfish turned out a lot better on the right side than the left side, but they're a blobfish, so they can look however they want. If they look fine. Like, no matter how you draw a blobfish, they look good. I think that's why I draw them all the time, because they're just beautiful creatures. Okay, I think that's the line art. Is that it? Oh, here I thought the line art just seemed a little flat, so I was like, I'm going to add this border on the outside. That way, if I have any mistakes on the left-hand one, you can kind of fix the outside mistakes if you add like a darker border to the outside. So this isn't a technique that I do very often for like illustrations, but I'll do it a lot in like sketchbooks where I like to fill a whole page with just random sketches, and then the one that I like the best, I'll add like line art and then add a border around it so it's like super prominent and obvious, and it's a really fun technique to put in your sketchbooks, and I totally recommend it. But I decided to do it here, and I think it did add a little oomph, so yeah, no complaints there. It's adding line variation to the left-hand one that I didn't have control of because I didn't have very good wrist. what is the word, like the wrists when you're pressing lightly and harder? I don't know, variation of line pressure maybe. I didn't have any control with that, so just adding those with a thicker pen and going around the outside was able to sort of imitate that and cheat, I guess, in a way. And since I need to color this, and I'm basically copying Casey Golden's idea to do this in the first place, why not steal her medium as well? So I am going to be painting these in watercolor. I haven't used watercolor in a very, very long time, and I'm not very good at it. So this was fun. I did a separate color swatch key off camera so that I could figure out what the colors look like, because I couldn't remember what my colors look like, and I came up with a color scheme and I decided to make him look sort of like a bass. So he's going to be green and goldish. So I'm actually kind of happy with the colors, so you should watch this. This is quite fun. First I'm just adding in the green. I found that the paintbrush, it was really easy to add just like flat washes of color with my left hand, but when it came to getting like those little details, that's when I was starting to struggle. Whereas on the right hand, because I was using a very like wide brush because I didn't feel like using multiple brushes. Again, lazy. So with the right hand, I'm using a lot more wrist movements and like pressing lightly for small lines and thicker, or pressing harder for thicker lines and things like that. Whereas with my left hand, I kind of only had two options, and that was push really, really hard or push really, really light and hope you make a mark. I was able to get a couple dots, but sometimes they didn't end up exactly where I wanted them, and then it was like, no. But it was really, really fun with that. I really enjoyed getting my watercolors out and trying something. Here I had a bit of a mistake with the colors on the right side. His skin ended up really, really yellow and messed that up. I actually did these at the exact same time. So like I would do the skin on the left hand one, then I would go and do the skin on the right hand one. So I was using the exact same color, and I'm not entirely sure what went down. I thought I was doing everything properly. I just need more practice with the watercolors, which is cool because I really enjoy using watercolors. I like the way they turn out. I like the way they look. I like using them. I like using a paintbrush. So I definitely want to do more watercolor in the future. So having something to practice is always a good thing. Anyway, here are my two illustrations. We have the one I drew with my left hand. I really like the colors on that. I feel like it turned out really well. And then the right hand one where I messed up the skin. But this was a surprisingly fun exercise, and I hope you enjoyed watching me wriggle my way through drawing with my left hand. Which one do you think is better? Did my left hand win or my right hand? Also, if you like mermaids, I am posting an illustration every day on Instagram for the month of May for mermaid. It's not always a mermaid, but it's mostly mermaids. And yeah, I could suggest you check those out if you do. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you end up drawing the same picture with both hands, I'd love to see what you come up with. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys all next week, and I hope you have a delicious evening full of waffles. Bye!